Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to learn about another interesting and fascinating topic on motion. This is a special video made by Jinit and Janil. So let's begin. Let's start off by knowing what is motion.
In physics, the motion is the change in position of an object with respect to its surrounding in a given interval of time. The motion of an object with some mass can be described in terms of the following: distance, displacement, speed, velocity, time, and acceleration. We look at some of them in detail. Types of motion. There are three types of motion: linear, oscillatory, and rotatory. Let's look at linear motion first.
In linear motion, an object moves from one point to another in a curved or straight line. Linear motion can further divided into rectilinear motion. The path of the motion is a straight line, like this bowling ball going in a straight line. Curvilinear motion, the path of the motion is curved, like a football going into a goal. It is curving, so that is called curvilinear motion. A few examples of linear motion are the motion of the train, football, the motion of a car on the road, etc. Now we will move on to rotatory motion.
Rotatory motion is the motion that takes place when an object rotates on its own imaginary axis. For example, the Earth rotates on its own imaginary axis and the top rotates as well, as we mentioned about the Earth. And while driving a car, the motion of wheels and the steering wheel about its own axis is also an example of rotatory motion. Now let's look at oscillatory motion.
Oscillatory motion is the back and forth motion of an object about its main position. A few examples of oscillatory motion are a child swinging on a swing. The swing moves back and forth about its mean position. The pendulum of a clock moves back and forth. The string of a guitar when strummed. Now, let's move on to distance and displacement.
Distance, the length of the actual path between the initial and final position of a moving object in a given time interval, is known as the distance traveled by the object. For example, if you are moving from point A to point B, the distance covered will be, for say, 5 kilometers. So that will be the distance traveled by you. It is a scalar quantity because it only has magnitude. Magnitude means the size. So kilometers, that's the size of the distance traveled by you. And the SI unit of distance is meters. SI unit, System of International Units. And displacement, on the other hand, is the change of position of an object in a given time interval, is the displacement of an object. That means if you're traveling from point A to point B north, that would be the displacement. Displacement is a vector quantity because it includes direction as well as magnitude. The SI unit of displacement is again meters. Now, what is speed?
Speed is a scalar quantity that refers to how fast an object is moving. Speed can be thought of as the rate at which an object covers distance. A fast-moving object has a high speed and covers a relatively large distance in a short amount of time. Contrast this to a slow-moving object that has a low speed. The SI unit of speed is meter per second square. The formula to calculate speed is distance divided by time.
For finding this distance, you can multiply speed by time, and to find the time, you can divide distance by speed. Now let's see if you can answer this question on speed. What is your average speed in miles per hour if you travel 10 miles in 2 hours and 30 minutes? I think it's a bit tricky, but can you answer it? Pause the video and have a go. So, distance covered is 10 miles. You can also write it as 16,000 meters. And time taken is 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is 2.5 hours or 9,000 seconds. So speed is equal to 10 divided by 2.5, or you can also write it as 16,000 divided by 9,000. So our final answer is 4 miles per hour or 1.777 meter per second. For a speed question, you can either write it in miles per hour, kilometer per hour, or meter per second, but examiners usually prefer meters per second. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Goodbye. See you in the next video.